Namaskar, Shubho Shundha, good evening, and a warm welcome in this wintry weather aboard the cruise of River Hooghly to all delegates, senior officials, dignitaries, and others on behalf of G20 Secretariat, Government of India, Government of West Bengal, and Honorable Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Let me take this opportunity to talk about this vessel, the Bengal paddle, one of its kind. It was built in the year of 1945. The rest will be spoken by my friend about this vessel. Then we'll start our musical journey as well as the sailing.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to everybody in attendance here, and welcome aboard the Bengal paddle. Just two lines about the vessel that you are currently on. This vessel is India's last surviving paddle steamer. It was built in Scotland in the year of 1945, brought down here in knockdown condition, and assembled in Calcutta by a erstwhile British company, River Steam Navigation Company. It was built as a shallow draft vessel to operate in the Ganga River as well as the Brahmaputra River. What you see today is its restored and relivened version and rechristianed version. And there are about 3 or 4 of us will be hanging around, so please find us and we'd be happy to give you tours in small batches. It would be interesting for you to know that we also have a museum in what was the boiler room of this ship. We've taken out the boiler and there's a museum in there dedicated to the evolution of technology of navigation, particularly on this river. So please do find us when you find the time, and we will definitely take you around the vessel and through the museum. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Good evening once again, and a warm welcome in this wintry evening aboard the cruise on the River Hooghly, the Bengal paddle. To all delegates, senior officials, dignitaries, and others on behalf of G20 Secretariat, Government of India, Government of West Bengal, and Honorable Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. In today's cultural bouquet, the first offering will be presented by Pandit Tanmay Bose and his team of international musicians portraying both modern and traditional genre of Bengali music along with vocal and classical rendition. Pandit Tanmay Bose is one of the most renowned musicians in contemporary world of music and an indispensable member of the global fraternity of percussion. Pandit Tanmay Bose received his early tutelage from the legendary Pandit Kanai Datta. He has also received training from Pandit Shankar Ghosh. He reached his ultimate milestone in life when greatest ambassador of Indian classical music, Bharat Ratna Pandit Ravi Shankar, invited him to play regularly with him around the world. Along with him this evening, the others who will displaying their crafts are Gaurav Chatterjee on drums, Ratul Shankar Ghosh on conga, Shankar Narayan Sami on mridangam, Shudipto Banerjee on keyboards, Moinak Nagchaudhuri on bass guitar, Bodhisattva Ghosh on lead guitar, Subir Ray on flute, and Sanjay Banerjee on vocal. So let's start Tal Tantra by none other than Pandit Tanmay Bose. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so very much for your patient hearing and for your appreciation. We are going to present the second number for you, which is a little bit towards the jazz, a composition by a dear friend of mine from Germany, Kai Bruckner. We call it the Midnight Blues. So this is in a time cycle of 6 beats, and the composer is Mr. Kai Bruckner from Berlin. So please enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bodhisattva Ghosh, Moinak Nak Chaudhary, Gaurav Chatterjee, Sudipto Banerjee, Ratul Shankar, Shankar Narayan Swami, Sanjay, and myself, Tanmoy. The last number that we are going to do for you is in a time cycle of 5 beats. It sounds complex, but it is fun because in India is the only country probably which has 2 sets of classical music. One in the southern part of India, we call it Carnatic music, and in the north we call it Hindustani classical music. And we vocalize percussion syllables as in a language. So I'm going to start with a vocalization of the 5 beats. So we'll have a feel of how we do that. It's almost like a conversation that happens between 2 musicians when 2 percussionists are together. And it's not phonetics, it's actually syllables that we use. So please enjoy the 5 beats. Thank you once again. And I hope you enjoy your stay in this beautiful city of Calcutta. And do your best. Go shopping and do whatever you may like to do. Calcutta is good for you for that. Anyway, condom. Thank you very much. Thank you once again on behalf of all of us. Enjoy your evening with fine dining and a cruise on the Ganges and great music after me also and after us. Mr. Michael is going to perform for you saxophone Indian style. Thank you. Namaskar.
Pandit Tanmay Bose did my work almost finished. Nothing more to say. Thank you, Pandit Tanmay Bose and his team. A big hand for Pandit Tanmay Bose. And really, über performance from his side. Our next presentation this evening is Michael Banerjee and his team. Now in the second program, Michael Banerjee and his team will be casting their magical spell with Oriental music, with Banerjee, the maestro, on saxophone being the lead. Michael Banerjee is a noted saxophone specialist covering a wide range of musical genres from the songs of Rabindranath Tagore to Bengal folk, modern Bengali song, Hindi old melodies, and obviously Western music. This 65-year-old musician is playing saxophone for last 41 years. His team consists of Subrato De on guitar, Shukhendu Shekhar will be Michael Banerjee and his team. They will enthrall you with their mesmerizing music playing. Michael Banerjee on saxophone, Subrato De on guitar, Shukhendu Shekhar Das on keyboard, Shubhendu Pal on percussion. Michael Banerjee and his team. So that was Michael Banerjee and team. Before we hit the dinner in the lower deck, we'll talk about the history of Calcutta becoming Kolkata. The history of lanes and bylanes of Kolkata will be depicted and narrated by none other but Iftikhar Hassan in front of you for next 15 minutes. And for your information, dinner will be served downstairs on the deck number 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Thus the midday halt of Chanok, more's the pity, grew a city. As the fungus sprouts chaotic from its bed, so it spread. Chance directed, chance erected, laid and built on the silt, palace, byre, hovel, poverty and pride, side by side, and above the packed and pestilential town, death looked down. This is how Mark Twain describes Calcutta. Rudyard Kipling describes Calcutta. So Kipling obviously did not like Calcutta very much, and you can see from his narration that he saw it as a place full of negativity. Whereas there's another person who came to Calcutta and lived in Calcutta in the early 1800s, a man called Mirza Ghalib, who said यहाँ की खाक नशीनी वहाँ की हुक्मरानी से बेहतर है, which means it is better to be in the dust of Calcutta than the throne of Delhi. So there are two completely contrasting views because Calcutta has meant so many things for so many different kinds of people. The British called it the city of palaces because they made a lot of palaces all along the river bank, and they would ensure there was nothing obstructing the view of the palaces from people going on the river. So all these river travelers would see the city and see all the palaces all over, and that's why Calcutta was called the city of palaces. We also know Calcutta as a city of protests, that this is a city that protests everything that happens in the world, everything that it feels is wrong, and goes and protests against that. So Calcutta has a big area called the metro channel area, where everyone meets and protests about things that they feel are wrong in the world. So Calcutta is also a city of protest, it's also a city of culture, it's also a city of Nobel Prize winners. So many Nobel laureates have come from this city and gone on to do so well in the world. So this city has a way of kind of giving you an upbringing that really has an impact going around all over the world. So when the British first came in, they evacuated all the native residents from the southern part of the city. So they came by the river. The reason we are on the river today is also because this is the genesis of the city. This is how the British would come in from the mouth of the river, from the ocean into Calcutta. And Calcutta was always a famous trading port. But the British would not the colonizers wanted to say that, this was, as he said, the packed and pestilential town. So they were saying that there was nothing worth living here. But actually, this was always a famous trading port called the Shutanuti trading port, where cotton thread was traded. So all these colonizers who were attracted to this port simply because it was away from the power centers of Delhi, Agra, even for Bengal, it was away from Murshidabad, which was the capital of Bengal. And they were here. So slowly, they kind of evacuated all the native residents and pushed them northwards. And where they evacuated the native residents from, they started calling that the White Town. And where they pushed the native residents to, they started being called the Black Town. So White Town of the Europeans and Black Town of the native Bengalis. In between the White and the Black Town, a third town came up that was never planned, but it so happened because so many people were attracted by Calcutta's prosperity. The common saying was that money flies in Calcutta, you just need to go and catch it. So a lot of people came, including my grandfather who came from Rajasthan and settled here. But lots of people came and settled in Calcutta looking for this flying money. And that gave birth to a third town, which is called the Grey Town. Now, we do walking tours through all these different neighborhoods, talking about the history, the culture, the architecture, the food, the communities that live in there, the religions they follow, the kinds of clothes they wear. All of this is fascinating stuff that we show on the streets of the city. And a lot of it is unchanged. While the rest of the world may move at a certain pace, Calcutta moves at its own pace. So a lot of the old ways of life, a lot of the old traditional systems of community living, they still survive here, which cannot be said for many other places in the world. Like for example, right outside my house, there's a bunch of goats that come to deliver fresh goat milk every morning. Of course, they're shepherded by the person who brings them in. So this guy brings the goats in and milks them right in front of you. Now that's something that is a very typical feature of old Calcutta. You still have the old Chinatown that continues to live in Calcutta is the only Chinatown of South Asia. So there's the old Chinatown in the Tiretta Bazaar area, and there's a newer Chinatown in the Tangra area. Now the Chinese were invited by the British to set up a sugar mill just outside the city of Calcutta. And they went to a place called Achipur, which is also where Bata had set up their factory. So the Bata shoes were being made, but right beside that was this factory where the Chinese were producing refined white sugar, which is the reason why we still call refined white sugar chini, because the Chinese introduced refined white sugar to India. And ever since we've been addicted, completely hooked. So Then a lot of other communities also came and settled in Calcutta, made it their home. Like the oldest Christian grave in the city is from 1690 of an Armenian lady called Reza Bibi. Now Reza Bibi in the year 1690 died in Calcutta, and if you go to the old Armenian church in the city, you see her grave there, which is extremely unusual. That 1690 is when the British were saying that they were settling here, and Reza Bibi was there from 1630s. So that's even before the Taj Mahal was built. So lots of interesting things that happened in different parts of the city that like so much so that only 40% of Calcutta is supposed to be Bengali, and 60% of Calcutta is mixed with all these people that came from different parts and settled here. Now there's this one walk we do where we go to we call it the confluence of cultures, and we go to a Buddhist temple. Right next to the Buddhist temple, you go to the Anglo-Indian quarters. Right next to the Anglo-Indian quarters, you go to the Parsi fire temple. You go to the Jamaat Khana of the Aga Khanis, where they gather. There's a Baptist church where Carey Baptist, who came from England and set up this church, which he wanted to propagate the word of God to. So Carey Baptist Church, now very interesting story of all these people. Like William Carey, for instance, he was not allowed to settle in Calcutta. They said that the British or the Anglicans were not on great terms with the Baptists, so they said Baptists will not set up shop in Calcutta and will not propagate. So they went and settled upriver in an area called Shirampur, which was a Danish colony. So the Danes had no problem with them setting their church over there. So the church was built there, and then the church in Calcutta was built. But the word of God was propagated through the many different Indian languages. India is the second most linguistically diverse country in the world. So more than 1,000 languages. And that is what Carey Baptist, William Carey, realized, that if he had to propagate the word of God in India, he had to do through the many different Indian languages. So he started translating the Bible, 1, 2, 3. Eventually he died. Before he died, he translated the Bible in 35 different languages. He had a printing press in Calcutta called the Baptist Mission Press, which actually used to advertise that they print in more than 40 languages, which was a big achievement in 1800s Calcutta. I also call Calcutta the city of firsts, because I believe a lot of things first started here and then spread on to the rest of the world. Like, I don't know if you know of this man called Deen Muhammad. Deen Muhammad was this Bengali man who went to England, and he started giving the English the head massage, which in India we call the champi. Now, while he was giving the head massage, he realized that those people were not washing their hair. Their hair was dirty. So he started cleaning their hair. And thus was born the idea of shampoo. So it was a Calcutta person, or a Bengali actually, not from Calcutta, but a Bengali who went and started the idea of shampoo in 1800s England. In the same way, there are so many other things. Like, for example, the first tram network of the country was set up in Calcutta to ferry goods meant for goods transport and pulled by horses that went from Shialda to Armenian Ghat, the river. So transporting goods all along what we now call the Beau Bazaar Street, but that was one of the first roads that the British built in Calcutta. So many things happened first here. Like the first Otis lift of the country is in the Calcutta Raj Bhavan, or the government house. The first fingerprint bureau of the world. There were these two constables at the Calcutta police force called Rai Bahadur Hemchandra Bose and Azizul Haq, who were seeing all these documents that the British were taking palm prints of. So they were doing these contractual farming contracts with the farmers. So they started taking these palm prints of these farmers. And these two constables started studying them and realized that each of them was unique. And thus was born the first fingerprint bureau of the world at the Writers' Building in Calcutta. So this city, unassuming as it seems, has so much that it contains within itself, and very, very non-flashy, very, very understated. So one of the analogies I often give for Calcutta is, like every hamburger in the world needs a butchery. And most cities of the world are divided, the burger and the butchery are divided by a cosmetic layer. Calcutta, for reasons good or bad, lacks that cosmetic layer. So you could eat your burger and look at the butchery at the same time. So I think it's an honest city, but it's also a bit too much to take if you're not used to too many things in your face. But Calcutta is a city that I feel embodies that very well. And there's room for everyone. Time and again, it gets rated as one of the safest cities in the world, simply because there's always eyes on the street. There's always there's either somebody sleeping or somebody opening their shop and selling their goods, or vegetable vendors in the day, or some other form of use in the night. So there's always, spaces are always used because of this amazingly dense neighborhoods that we have, and because of which it is time and again rated as one of the safest cities in the country. And I'm sure once you go through the city, you walk around, you talk to people, you realize that it's not a place that makes you feel unsafe. And I think that's one of the achievements of Calcutta. So lots of things happened here, lots of wonderful history here. We do these walking tours all through the day, talking about these stories. I shared some of them with you. So if you have any questions, I'll be in the walking around and we can talk about it. Well, I think you should proceed to your dinner now, because it's already 9:15. Thank you. Thank you.